it doesn't really matter to me. My haters are boring. That's why they're like that. The other day I was struggling to find a word for something that wasn't jealousy when they had more than me. And I think that word is just impressed. If you're everything that I am and trying to be a good person and have like more than me and get laid all the time and like, or have like a good relationship with your wife and you're like 20 years older than her and you got great kids and 1,500 board games and play the guitar and give to the homeless and live in Spokane or just an awesome dude, and you're not helping me find love, but you know about telomeres and age gap relationships, you're still not really my type of friend because you're not helping me. You guys all go out there and want immediate gratification, so you hook up and get pussy by going to the bars. To me, they're just age phobic, which means I have to hang out with a bunch of haters and bigots, most of which are Christians, which is completely, well, not completely, but one of the reasons why I'm an atheist. So I have castles in Burgundy. This came out in 2011. It's Les Chateaux de Bourgogne. Aliyah Games. Of course, I haven't played any of these because I'm not really hanging out with Zoomers. They kind of tend to be a little rambunctious. I know that's not all of them, but yeah, I really don't want to be around people who are rambunctious and, self-centered. It gets old and exhausting after a while. If I want to meet young chicks, do you really expect me to hang out with Gen X and baby boomer dudes? Think about that. But, I do embrace board gaming and do like people who can solve their problems, even if they're deep political problems, through nonviolence. Sometimes you just have to kind of like move on to something else. Like, I don't know, game setup. This is a game that has a lot to do with luck, because there's a lot of dice rolling in it. And dice rolling isn't really the Euro game style, because any kind of randomizer in any kind of game is not really the Euro game style. I think that there should be more games that utilize both conflict and cooperation. And there's a lot of like Western style games, like the Great Western Trail, and like cowboy games that sort of utilize that whole cooperative, competitive aspect. And my dream is to to learn more about games in order to create a Euro game that's non-competitive but has elements in it like an Ameritrash game that are competitive. I like the whole Euro game style, and I like the whole war game style. I think one of the best games that I've ever seen in the Euro game style would be Feast for Odin or Terra Mystica, which is more, I think, Ameritrash, but it's in that style. Colonizers is another one. Tapestry. There's all those Euro game styles with their Agricola, games that are not really competitive, but I want to like combine that idea with like ASL, Advanced Squad Leader, Napoleon's Triumph, like Antietam, like the war game style with the Euro game style. I think that that's where it could possibly go with board gaming, because those are like the most popular genres, is like German style non-competitive board games, which have a lot to do with farming, and like the American style games from like the 70s and 80s, where it was like the deep engrossing competitive war games based on real scenarios. If you combine those two things, I think you're on to something. And you remove all randomization, but it doesn't feel like an abstract. Maybe there's a little bit of randomization. Maybe, I don't know. See, when Tom Bassel and them talk about war games, they talk about like Small World, but really there's the whole look up war games on the internet on YouTube, and you'll see more what I mean. Advanced Squad Leader is the pinnacle of the war game, and like the pinnacle of Eurogaming would be games like Antiquity or Feast for Odin, like I mentioned. So, like a hybrid between those two. So I buy games that people say, hey, these are like impressive games that game people really like. So I bought Castles of Burgundy, and it's got a complexity rating on BoardGameGeek.com of 3 out of 5, which isn't bad. The rule book isn't too long. I mean, it's like it's a Ravensburger game, which is I guess this would be an Ameritrash game, but as you can see, it's in the Euro style. So I think that Castles of Burgundy is probably more a Euro game. 11 pages isn't long for a rule book. Like I said, that ASL, like the full Advanced Squad Leader book is like 300 pages long on paper this big. When you buy the starter kits, they're usually like 28 pages long. So I buy these games in order to learn more about them because I really want to like combine them. And I'm sort of taking a break off from designing to sort of think about things for a while because I really want something impressive. And I really want to design something impressive. Of course, this part's in French, so I guess it would be a Euro game. You can see there's a lot of dice rolling, which is touchy for people into Euro games because they don't want the randomization. But it's like dice drafting where you can sort of pick and choose what you want. Yahtzee is sort of a simplistic version of that. But I like the whole idea of a long game. My ideal game would be a long game like Risk, 6 hours long. Or Colonizers, which can be like 9 hours long. That is both cooperative and has elements of competitiveness with very little randomization in it. That doesn't seem like an abstract. So, there's games that are like, they have the elements of it. I want something that blows Gloomhaven out of the water. Gloomhaven has the highest rating on BoardGameGeek at a 8.9. I want something out there that's like a 10. But this does look like a fun game. Again, I'm not playing the games because I want to meet Zoomer chicks. And the Zoomer dudes are kind of always in the way. It's like, you can't talk with the chicks, those are our women, they're misogynistic. Bullshit that we put out there is just what you're going to have to deal with. So I don't really hang out with Zoomers. Because it just leads to more age phobia from the women, because they just talk shit. And I don't really need people around me that are hostile and aggressive. Even if I have a tendency to be hostile and aggressive, I'm empathic. So I tend to pick up the energies of those around me. And if somebody is hostile and aggressive, I become hostile and aggressive. I don't like when people drop certain words, but there are certain words that I'm okay with. I'm a little bit SJW, but I'm not violent. I'm confrontational sometimes. But yeah, board games are there to chill people out, and that's the reason that they're so cool. Is if you're chill, you're cool. It means the same thing. If you're chill, but you're like fiery, you're not really chill. You know? And this does look like a cool game. The all or nothing thinking needs to go. That's all like, it reminds me so much of like the Republicans. Like, nobody will ever love you. Kill yourself. Get therapy. Whenever I hear stuff like that, I just laugh and will type an LOL, call you an age-phobic bigot, tell you to watch my telomere videos, remind you of what's on my channel, and just sort of leave it at that. And I'll block you, of course. I mean, if you're talking shit about me, I'm going to block you. My friend told me today that I should go to bars, and I said I can't. The women, they're age-phobic. I've tried. I don't really need some like millennial or Zoomer dude like copying the age phobia things that I've talked about in order to get laid, and being around that just makes me, it sucks. It's like everybody's getting laid but me, but at the same time I can't really blame them for trying. I don't hate them. It's just, you can't be around people that get everything that you want, doing everything that you do and everything you are, except they lack maybe long telomeres in their sperm or compassion towards you. So, if you're going to gaslight narcissists, bullshit me, we're not friends. Hostility and aggression just elevates my hostility and aggression. Non-violence.